This is a video trip report from running the Upper Wind River of 5.8 feet. This was a fun day with a couple of friends, and I felt like challenging myself a little bit, so I took some of the spicier lines on some of the rapids. So this is less of a guide to the easy lines and normal lines, but more of a trip report or a guide to some of the more challenging lines if you want to go down the wind and kind of push yourself a little bit. So this initiation, great rapid, good warm up. This really gives you a sense of what to expect during the day. That entrance drop is really fun. That's the normal line. Here I make a choice whether to go right or left. At this level of 5.8, left here is easier. You can see right is a little spicy over here. There's a lot going on. There's a little bit of trouble you can get into over here. And usually in this next drop, I come through here, this next drop, I usually go left. And I'm telling them to go left because if they want the easier line. But right is a little spicier. I like to challenge myself here on the right side. Again, left is the normal route, but there's a nice drop here that's really fun. I like to do on the right. Then you have to get back left. And again, normally I would now pull over and go right. But today I'm kind of pushing myself a little bit, trying some new lines. So this left line is more challenging when I'm taking. And it's challenging because there's a hole. If you look right in front of me to my left now, there's a hole right there that people get into trouble. So I generally avoid that left line, but again, I'm just in a good mood today. I'm feeling pretty confident, and I feel like I have good safety behind me, so I'm trying to push some of the more difficult lines. This is the next little warm-up place, kind of goofing around, and this gets us into a rapid called Grandma's. I have no idea how it got that name. That's just what I've been told it is. And generally the line is right. There's a nice right side line. It's really conservative. But this left side has some places to kind of sneak and move around. So today, in an effort to push myself and try some more challenging lines, I'm going to bump down the left side here. And I personally really like this kind of technical boating. It's not for everybody. I like kind of going between rocks and being very precise with my boating and just trying things out. I think it's just good practice. If you're going to run the wind at low water at like 4 or 5 or lower, the whole thing is kind of like this. So it's good practice for low water wind. And I've never run this bottom drop where I'm about to run it. And right now the boats are coming by, so I have to wait for the boats to come by so I don't get in their way. But I'm going to try this line at the bottom. I've only done it in a kayak before, but thought I would try today in a raft. Have a little, I think I'd run into Tyler here. But a technical little line that's challenging. Again, for me, really good practice because I have to be very precise to do that. So I have to put myself in the right place and deal with the boat being on the side a little bit. So I really like that kind of thing. Now we're in the eddy above Ramshorn. For those of you that know, Ramshorn is probably the hardest rapid on the river. It's definitely the longest. And I call the whole thing Ramshorn. There's basically like 5 different sections of it, and they progressively get harder. My general advice for Ramshorn is read and run, but if you're trying to decide between right and left is usually easier. So you'll see I'm going to do a lot of right side lines here just to push myself. Even in this entrance, I love this little move. I don't hit it well. It's a tough move. But again, good practice to like get stuck on rocks, to get unstuck. And here I go from being lead boat to second boat, which is fine. You see the normal lines over there sort of in the middle. Again, this is about 5 different sections. I would call that last part the beginning of Ramshorn. Some people only call the very bottom of a Ramshorn. I call this entire section, and it just goes. Every drop gets progressively more difficult. Here again, the normal line is to the left, but I'm going to squeeze down this right side. It's really good practice for shipping, and again, precision. This is where precision matters a lot. I got back into lead boat here. Once again, the more normal-ish line here is center or even left, but I'm taking this right line to just have some fun, practice, hone my skills. I think it's really healthy on a run you're very comfortable with and familiar with, to try new lines. Don't do it in a dangerous way. You don't want to do it and get in trouble, but starting to explore new lines and do things like that, I think is just super healthy. And again, normal line there would be left. I took that right line. Now below me here is what most people call, this is the main drop. This is probably the hardest part of Ram's Horn. Again, it kind of progressively gets more difficult. Some people just call this drop only Ram's Horn. I've called this entire thing. It's just a difference in opinion. The normal line here is left. I think it's a little more challenging, but more conservative. This way on the right is a little easier, but you have to contend with this hole. And this hole can mess you up and keep you from getting left. Because after this, you really want to get left. You'll notice I need to get left. I'm pulling, I'm ferrying over to get far left. I didn't push. And now I'm going to drive in by when I push down the left side. So that right side entrance is a little more, I would say, a little more difficult. It's easier, but it can mess you up. But the left side's more conservative. Hopefully that makes sense. And we all had good lines this day, and catch the edit below Ram's Horn and keep going. And this next rapid does have a name. Somebody's named it. I forget what it's called, so I just call it the rapid below Ram's Horn. You could even call this a continuation of Ram's Horn. I have no idea. I'm working on my rock spin where I put the bow up on a rock there and do a 360. It's something I'm working on doing in the raft. And again, I'm just kind of messing around, trying new lines out in here. This rapid's pretty cool. High water, there's a big hole in here. But at normal flows, it's like, I don't know, easy class 4. There is a sieve at the bottom I'll point out. But again, I'm trying new lines out. You notice there's this line between the rocks here. Working on my double ship, but I lose my oar. You notice I hit my blade on a rock and it pops out, but with pins and clips I'm able to put it back in real quick and easy. And yeah, just messing around over there. This rapid's super fun. There's a lot of things going on, but not terribly difficult. And then right on the left below me here, there's a sieve on the left. It would be really hard to accidentally get over there. This is where I saw a boat get stuck once, but that left side kind of saw there's some nasty rocks over there you want to avoid. And I'm trying a new line with the downstream ferry between some rocks, and went okay. Again, in an effort just to challenge myself today. And here we are. Now we're getting into the last few rapids. The next one is balls to the wall right, which traditionally causes the most problems for oar boats. I've seen a lot of flips on balls to the wall right. It's been a while since I've seen a flip though, so maybe it changed. But kayakers and paddle boats take the right side. They just go down the right wall. There's not really room for oars to be used down the right side, so my general line is to go middle. There's a really nice middle line. I've never kayaked it actually. I always kayaked on the right. Maybe I should try kayaking the middle line at some point. But anyway, this is still the entrance. Again, just kind of goofing off in the rocks. So this is where you would choose to go middle or right. There's just a right line down the right side that's just like a freight train down the right. This middle line's a bit more technical and really fun in an oar boat. I'm going to enter middle, but then take this kind of weird left line. At this level, at 5/8, this left line opens up. And I did it with a kind of a pole and sort of a downstream ferry to get over there, and then just had to run the second part backwards. But there's a really cool chute over there on the left. I like practicing these things. Again, it's good for me. It gives me something different to do. But let's just say one day a log was in the main line. I have a backup plan. I know the backup plan. So I know the run really well to where I know where you can and can't go. And I've practiced it in case one day I need to go different. Same thing here. This is balls to the wall left. Most people take the left line the whole way. I like that little right channel, and just kind of practicing here, burying, and kind of making my way through these narrow rocks. This is just really good practice to me. It's fun. I really enjoy this part of rowing, right where I'm at right now. Just sort of sitting here in the calm spot, watching the boats come through, trying to get into proper boat spacing, proper boat order. Like timing the rapids is important, but also timing where I am with any of the boats, I think, is a challenge. So I'm I'm thinking about that right now. How can I pull out at the right time so that our spacing is pretty good? Which is hard to do because it's shallow here. I might get stuck. But making these little tiny moves like this to me is really fun. And again, great practice. Going over rocks, sliding over rocks like that, great practice. Knowing what you can and can't do, I think, is really important. And I wish I had tighter boat spacing. I think I was pretty conservative there because I was afraid the boat in front of me might get stuck. We should be closer right now. This isn't terrible, but I wish I had done this so we were closer. Luckily, they edited out just in case I had a problem, which is super smart. And I'm going to pass them here. I think I'm going to pass them in a second. This next rapid, yep, this is called Morning Wood. There used to be wood in the bottom, which made this really tough. And now you can go almost anywhere. Oh yeah, I take a weird line today too. I definitely, there's a nice middle line between some rocks here. I'm trying to split some other rocks. I have this idea right now of what I want to do right there, and I don't make it. I really wanted to go right between those rocks, which I end up doing, but I wanted to do it stylishly and cool. This is not this is not stylishly and cool. But again, those kind of moves are good practice for me, as I want to just kind of keep developing my skills, get some practice to go run more difficult rivers. This is the last little bit, this fun little straightaway before we get to climax, the last rapid. And there's 3 lines of climax. I think the left is the most difficult. I think the center and the far right are I think the center is the easiest, and I say the far left, and I'm trying to hold on to a tree so I can get some video of them for Instagram. So I'm trying to edit out. This is good practice for editing out on top of things. They went left. I think that's the most difficult line. But just to challenge myself, I thought I would get all the way to the right side and run this right side line. In the race, this right side's fast, so I like practicing this right side. I just go faster in the race. And just go clean fun through there. We're heading into the last rapid wet spot. I like this hole right here. See, I'm pulling into this hole. There's a great place. At some levels, this is a really fun surf hole. It's a little consequential because the swim below here would be kind of heinous. So you wouldn't want to flip. You wouldn't want to fall out. So it's a good chance to practice somewhere, side surfing, back surfing. Somewhere that's not you know, this hole you can get out of if you need to. But also there's some consequence. You want to be really conservative here and not flip or something. So it's a good chance to sort of get in there, and you can see I'm just practicing. I think one thing we can do to get better to deal with, as rivers get more difficult, holes become a big deal, and sometimes you get stuck in holes. So you want to have practice sort of like playing with them so you can get out of them if you need to, but also learning which holes are nasty and which aren't. You know, when you get into a hole like this, you kind of learn like, oh, these are features that make a hole super dangerous or like sticky, and these are features that don't make it sticky. And a good way to do it is by surfing ones you feel very comfortable with. And this is one of those holes. At certain levels, I'd like to just get in here and surf and see how long I can stay in. Also, you can see I'm trying to spin the boat. I'm going to try to do a spin, but I can't do it. See if I can spin around forwards. Again, I can't quite do it. So once you get in there side surfing a little bit, then practicing trying to spin the boat and really control the boat. I'm pushing hard to get back in, but I just can't make it. And I'm popping out. And that's it. Thanks for watching this video trip report of the Wind River at 5.8 feet.